Houston, we have a problem. It's broken. Oh, I tell you what, should we chuck it? No, don't do that. Fix it. We chuck too much stuff away these days for relatively easy repairs. So what we're going to do is repair it. We're going to go to the overhead camera. Oh, there we are, the overhead camera, and we are going to fix this little problem. No, we're not going to wrap a load of tape around it. No, we'll put a splint on it. No, that'd be silly. It's so easy to repair that it is. So what we're going to do is we are going to disassemble Johnny 5. Well, actually, no, it's a Black & Decker 4.5-inch angle grinder, or a grinder if you like. So we have a screwdriver, and we are going to remove this screw. Oh, there it goes. Oh, blimey. Oh. It's better than having the poo, that it is. Anyway, so there's a screw, and I've got a little pot here, a magnetic pot. So put that in there so I don't lose it. All right, I'll put that there. Now this cover usually and hopefully will pull off. Yeah, this is quite a common way of removing this back cover. Some of them might be a little bit different, but it should be elementary. Oh my giddy aunt, the state of that inside. Oh my God. Now, I have to admit, this is not my angle grinder. This is my father's angle grinder. So am I surprised it's full of shit? No. My late father, he was a messy bugger. He was. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of that first. Oh my giddy aunt. Oh, so dusty. Maybe because my father used to cut fiberglass with it, yeah. I'm just going to check the brushes while I'm here. That one looks okay, and that one looks okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to remake this connection, if it's possible. I'm looking at what's going on here. There's something funny going on here. All right. Now, quite often you have this is connected to like a slider, a plunger here. Can you see that? See? As I go forwards, it releases the switch. So it doesn't actually press the switch in, it releases it. So when I turn it off, it's actually pushing the switch in. That's different, isn't it? So I want to try and move that section here, which is connected to wires. All right, so what I need to do is release this cable clamp. It's probably Phillips again. Remove that completely, the cable clamp. A little bit there, a little bit of plastic, hold the cable into place. So go on there like so. And now we have this arrangement, all right? Now we will make the cable shorter, but only by a little bit, yeah? Now what we want to do is we want to remake this into there. Now I think this bit, I'm not certain, but because you can't see any connection, so I imagine that is just a cover. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and slide this out. Oh, we can. That's okay. And it's attached to the two wires here as well, so that is going to restrict it coming out a little way. Okay. Oh, let me jump. It did. Put that out of the way again. So the two wires are stopped. Yeah, that is a cover. Can you see that? All right. So what I need to do is get some more slack. Now we can do that here. Can you see that here? That wire is going a bit around the old gooseberry bush it is. So if we can release it out of there and out of there and out of there, it gives me a bit more slack. And I could probably do the same on this side as well. Then hopefully we might be able to remove this enough to release this cover, which has a capacitor attached to it. Oh, no, it's not attached to it. So hopefully we can remove that cover. All right, we're virtually out of the casing. Oh, yeah, so I've got to remove that somehow. And in there, as you can see, some very, very simple connections. Now, are they? No, they're just literally like chocolate block connections in there. So the only soldering I'm going to do is I'm going to tin the ends because it'll hold in better. Now it's got a little tie wrap on there. Don't know if that's really doing anything. But we need to remove this section here. Right? That needs to be gone to at least there. See, what's happening here is there's fatigue going on inside there as well. The copper in there is eventually going to break. Okay? And then you'll be wondering why every time you move the cable it stops working. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll get some cutters and we're going to start again. Don't remove this yet because you're a bit reminded of what is positive and what is negative. So let's just prepare first. Yeah, prepare. by cutting it off. Make sure that you have unplugged it before you cut that off. That's usually a very good idea. Let's pull that out of there, all right? Now, we can actually improve this a little bit, okay? What we could do, if you want, is literally put some extra stiffness on here by actually adding some shrink wrap onto there, you see, and that'll stiffen this area, so it won't be quite so much of a sudden jump from this stiff rubber to the cable, and you'll be less likely to break off. So what we'll do is first, though, we'll prepare the cable. Oh, yeah. That's a bit electrician if you do that. Well, actually, I am. So there you go. So, yeah, on this 17th edition. So let's just double check that we are about right length there. So that's how much I want. I'm going to turn on my soldering irons. They're going to be heating up. Make sure the end of my solder, yeah, that's right, it's not touching anything, because otherwise you're getting into a situation. I'm just scoring it outside of the plastic insulation. There are other ways to do it. You can get tools to do this. But if you haven't, just score the outside and then break the insulation like so, the outside insulation, all right? If you've nicked the inside insulation, you're going to have to start again. You don't want to do that. Yeah. Did I go all the way through? Oh, it's probably because the blade's gone in. That wouldn't have helped. All right, like so, and then you just expose it like that and just help it around a little bit. I made a hash of this, by the way, just so you know. But I'm going to carry on. Normally you just go all the way around it and it'll break really easily, but because the cable slid in because I pressed the button in as I was doing it, just a bit silly. On the hair, you got me, on the blade. Like so, I haven't nicked the inside. Nope. And then you should be able to pull that off. Still a little bit of attached somewhere. Or was it just tight inside? No, it's just tight. There you go. So we now have two wires. Let's make sure that they are still the right length, which they are. And one looks a little bit longer than the other, but not really. That's right, that's good. So what we can do is you can use some wire strippers, or you can use your blade again, and basically, watch what I'm doing. I'll put a thing on there like so, and then I'm going to roll that around like that, okay? On the insulation. Can you see that? And then I should be able to just pull it off like so, without damaging any wires. I haven't took any copper with it or anything like that, okay? Or you can use a pair of wire cutters, put it into the right size slot, squeeze and pull. In fact, I've removed the insulation that's stretched a little bit. There you go. So we now have a positive and a negative. The blue is the negative in this case, and the brown is the positive. Now, depending on where you are and what type of cable it is, the colours can change. Sometimes the red is the positive. Sometimes, well, actually, black can be very confusing because sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's negative. But in this case, it's brown and it's blue. They're the most two common colours you'll get in a flexible cable like this. If it's an RD2 or something like that, it'll be red. It won't be brown. So, yeah. And it'll be a solid core cable. This is a flexible. I don't know why they have to try and confuse us with all these different colours. So grab some solder. I have in my little solder box. I have some little bits that I usually put all my little scraps in there, you see, to what I use for tinning and stuff. So there's a scrappy bit here. Usually like the end of a roll that I've had. Oh my goodness, I've got a fly in here. Who let the fly in? Who let the fly in? Ooh, ooh. Oh, sorry. I'll shut up now. So, now normally I do this over the top of a silicone mat, so I don't end up melting my carpet background, which I have that so it don't reflect light. And I'm forgetting, you see here. So I'll just tin those on top of this, so I don't end up having little blobs of solder go down and melt my mat like I did the other day. Right, so I'm just going to solder that onto there. So there's tinning it, yeah? So the solder is working its way into that cable, and that's tinned. I'm going to do the same on the other one. And if you're asking, why am I doing that? If you got to try to solder two wires together, well, the clamp, which is basically just like a little screw, can potentially cut the wires. I know it hasn't done on this particular device and it's quite old, but it can do. And if you squeeze it too tight, you can cut through the wires. Okay, so that's tinned. Alright, so I'll put that back over there. And before I forget, I'm going to turn the soldering iron off because I don't actually need it now. So we now have two, that goes well. We've now got two tinned wires, and positive and the negative, and hopefully that will slide into those connections quite easily. But there's one thing you must do before you start putting these into there, okay? And that is all the bits that was threaded through before, like so. You need to make sure it's threaded through again. Now, we can actually work out from this old piece where I'm going to put a piece of heat shrink, just to balance that out a little bit along that cable. So I'll grab some heat shrink. You don't have to do this, it's up to you, but I'm going to do it because I can. So what did I put that in there like that? Put that in here like through there like that. And just an extra little bit of spreading the load, so to speak. I'm going to push it along until I can see where it basically needs it. So it's about there. That's where the brake is originally, all right, which would have been on the other end of this, okay, because that's where it's getting fatigue. And this will help reinforce it in this area and then, you know, pass it along, so it's less likely to get fatigue. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to because I can. All right, I've got my hair dryer. Okay, don't use this as a hair dryer. It might burn your head. We're going to heat shrink that onto there, heat it up. There it goes. Go all the way around, even though it looks like it might be enough, just make sure you go all the way around. So it's grip, and you can put another piece on top if you wanted to. You're really that worried, but one piece should do it. You see, a lot of these PVC type cables, they're not, well, they're not very flexible, alright? They just aren't. Alright, that'll do. Some cables are better than others, and this being as a Black & Decker, what do you expect? Right, so that'll, can you see what I mean now? When that's all connected and pushed through, it's going to be about there. And that's, now, instead of the weakest point on this cable being where it's going to be bending against, the weakest point is going to be here. So, and as you can see, it's not going to bend there. It just helps a little bit. All right, it's not going to be perfect, but it'll help. So what we're going to do is now is to wire them into there. I'm going to just clean that a little bit more. Gross. Let's scroll it over. And like so, and like so. And then, yeah, make sure you obviously remember which way around they go. Sometimes they're not marked, you see. So it's best to do it, you know, bit by bit. Don't get carried away, basically. Get in that hole. Get in the hole. Get in my belly. There you go. You'll feel that screw. Now, instead of cutting through the cable, you can feel it going into the solder. So you're creating an indent. And by creating that indent in the solder, I'm just going to clip at the end of that one a little bit because it's a bit long. I don't want loads of exposed wire. It don't really matter, to be honest, because you've got obviously exposed connector there. Get in there. That's it. That's in there. That's good. So now I can tighten that one up. Did I tell you? Make sure it's unplugged. Oh, I've had some zaps over the years. Yes, I have. I haven't been electrocuted because I'm not dead, but I have had plenty of shocks. Yes, usually in consumer boards where we. Okay, the rules have changed now, but we used to do a lot of Barclays banks. Put all hand dryers into the toilets for Barclays Bank, and we weren't allowed to turn the power off because of the computers and stuff. These are like big offices. I'm not talking about little banks. Like the ones we worked in were big offices. But yeah, that was interesting. I think what way round did that go again? I can't remember now. Does it have a particular way round it goes? This little thing. Up or down, or does it matter? Was that way around or that way around? I know that went down there. I think it's that way around because there's 2 cables coming out of that one. So it must be that way. See, the thing is, I suppose it would be a good idea, this is in hindsight, to actually photograph it all with your phone before you get carried away. And then you wouldn't make the mistake that I did. Oh, where around does it go? Because you'll know, because you can have a reference. Your phone is a fantastic notebook. It's a bit fiddly. But you haven't got much slack on this one, you see, here. Oh, I see what's happening. The actual wire is in the way. Because there isn't much slack. Oh, okay, bring it over there a bit. That should. That one's on there. So it snaps on, doesn't it? Okay. Well, it should snap on. Wax on, wax off. There you go, that's on. So that's back on there, that's good. That was up there like so. So that presses down there like so. Push the switchboard out of the way, in this case. And we've got this random bit of fluff here. This is what I find this in my belly button sometimes, don't you? Do you find that in your belly button? I know I do. Alright, there we are, that's out of there. Let's give it another little blow out there. Let's get rid of the belly button fluff. Now that's a spring. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a bit of lube on my spring. Just a bit of liquid. This isn't WD-40, this is just a... well, just as an oil. Alright, so we have these. Remember, we've got to put these ones back. Don't forget to do that. Now we've got it back into position. We don't want them flopping about everywhere. So make sure they are back into position. If you can't, if it won't push down in and stay in place, you might need to put a little bit of hot melt glue on it. But it should stay down there. There you go, that's in there. It's in there. That's it, that one's there on that side. That bit does. That's what happens when you use these things for cutting fiberglass. But that was a boat builder, you see, so not surprising. And the reason you didn't used to buy expensive, you used to buy expensive grinders, to be honest. You used to buy what did you used to get? Wolf. The years ago used to be Wolf. Wolf grinders a long time ago, that was. And he decided, well, they're bloody pointless. These are actually not too bad. They did the job. And you kill them doing that job, cutting fiberglass, because all that fiberglass dust ends up in all the bearings and that. And that looks, let's have a look down there. That's looking okay. Yeah, that's all right. I've make contact that side. Brushes look okay. These look like quite easy brushes to replace if you have to. So there's one that side, one that side. It makes contact onto the commutator. So basically transfer the power from here to there and there. Yeah. All right. So now, very easy. Oh, I've got more bloody dust. Right. I should be able to... Oh, do you know what I forgot? I have forgot the cable clamp. That's what I forgot. I've got to put the cable clamp back on, haven't I? That I have. So I've just got to push that back into place down there. Let's find that cable clamp. And we're going to put that back on here, like, just like that. Yeah, just like that. Yeah. You see, we chuck so much stuff away, don't we, these days? There's no need. If it's broken, it could be really broken. But I even managed to fix a motor the other day in a drill driver. That was, I changed the brush unit, basically taking the motor apart. And it wasn't really designed to be replaced. It was, it was all like crimped over and stuff, so you kind of have to, manhandle it. There's a video on the channel about that if you want to have a look. But you can do it, and it's actually really easy. So many things you can do that, saves you some pennies. Not everyone's made bloody money, are they? Right, let's make sure that's lubed underneath there. Alright, hope that didn't go on my lens. It's quite important. Yeah, that works. That's better. Oh, grit getting dirt getting there, don't know. What way up did that go? Was it that way up? Yes, it was. So now that should go back on there. All right. All right there. And then we've got the screw, which I'm going to put lube in again. I do like my lube. I do. Ooh, that's a different channel. Right, so we can place that on there like so. Do 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 do. Oh, let's be lazy. It's a bit of assist. That's it. Make sure it's tight, and it is. Should I test it? Should I test it? I'll do that. Let's get on to the other camera. There we are. All right, one grinder. I need to plug it in to test it, though, don't I? You know, proof to you that I did unplug it. There's the plug. Manky old thing that is, isn't it? Crikey. Da, 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 da. Okay, it's off. It's not gone bang yet. Yay! Hey, what that does need. Oh! It needs a lubricant in the gearbox. Some lithium grease, I reckon it needs in there. But that'll be another video. But yes, that sounds a bit graunchy, doesn't it? Doesn't sound great. But it's not the electrical connection. We know that is good now. Look, see? That's all right. See, what a little done there. That's helped. Yeah, spread that load a little bit. You got to spread your load, if you know what I mean. Just like your seed. I keep forgetting I'm on the wrong channel. Anyway, I hope that was of use to somebody. Oh yeah, please boop the like button and maybe subscribe to the channel. You never know. Will be something interesting. Maybe. Toodaloo.